Yeah, my guess is that most people are using paper, yeah? You hold up your paper? Yeah. Oh, wow, you have ribbon. How thick is your ribbon? This has been Horan. Oh, wow, you guys also have ribbon. Right.
We have the thin one, like the thin ribbon, and then we also have thick ribbon.
All right, so, oh, where'd my samples go? Here. There's two different parts. Oops. Some keys. Here's one. There's two different parts. There's the part that the base part, which is here the black, and then the weaving part, which on here is blue. So if you have a thin ribbon, you want the thick one to be your base, and the thin one to be the weaving. If you have paper, then you don't have to listen to it. Is that if you have ribbon, then for cutting your paper towel, you're going to want it twice as wide as your wide ribbon. So if your ribbon is half an inch, then you want it to be 1 inch wide. For everybody else, everybody using paper, if you have a ruler, and a pen, you mark on your tube like 1 inch down. You can flatten it. Here, wait. Flatten it. That'll make it easier to cut. And then use the pencil and the ruler to mark about every inch. If anybody has questions, you can unmute yourself. I don't know if you could see, I made little marks every inch. I doubt it. You could see.
You were frozen for a minute before. All we do is flatten it down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, flatten it down and then use your ruler to mark every inch.
Inch, okay.
Unless you're using ribbon, then mark double your wide ribbon.
If we're using ribbon, then what do we do?
Make the width double the wide ribbon. Unless the ribbon can be cut in half lengthwise without frame. You're going to have two ribbons side by side.
So we still mark it every inch or more than that? 2 inches?
How wide is measure how wide the ribbon is.
The ribbon, let me see how wide the ribbon is. Which side is it? It's a little less than half.
So, my guess is it's probably 3/8 of an inch, but either way, so that times 2, so probably 1 inch. So I guess you'll want yours to be about 1 inch too.
Well, okay.
It's just because you don't want cardboard hanging out of it. Okay. Anyone who's using paper, just do it at 1 inch, and then when you mark it up, you can cut them into little loops.
Yeah, what do I do?
I'm not gonna cut. Yeah, we're gonna do the weaving one. And when you have loops, hold them up so I can see. It's fine if it's not recording, or you could ask permission. Cutting loops. We'll tell you what ribbon are you using. Okay, so that's 3/8 of an inch. So you want to measure 3/4 of an inch. That's the math version. All right, are people getting loops? You don't need to cut up your whole thing, just a few to get started. Oh, good. I see you guys have. Everybody. Wait. Hello. You guys got some loops? Okay, so anybody who is maybe ages 10 and under, I mean, you can decide. There's 2 ways to do this. One way is kind of complicated, and one way is more simple. And they both come out really nice. So if anybody thinks that the more complicated way might be too complicated, then you can do where you take your ring and you could either paint it or glue paper on top of it, and then glue flowers straight on that, and that could be the whole thing. And it comes out very nice. Ooh, Talia, you want to get examples? I don't know where they went. My sister's going to get some examples. So if you think you want to try the more complicated kind, you for sure can. But if you're probably around age 10 or younger, I suggest you do it the simpler way. Yep. Here's one my sister made. All she did is she painted the tubes this copper, and then glued on a flower and a leaf, and it came out really pretty. Yeah. Oh yeah. Or this kind. You glue on one color, and then a skinnier strip of another color, and then you can just glue on a flower. But so, because I said we're doing the woven ones, anyone who's doing that kind, you can go ahead and work on that. I'm going to show how to make the woven kind for those who want to see. Okay, so anyone who wants to make the woven one, you take one of your loops. There's a loop. And flatten it out again. And then you're going to cut down the middle, but not all the way, down a long way, this way. But not all the way. You want to leave a little bit at the end so your loops don't come all the way apart, because you want them to stay together. So I'll show you what that looks like. I have a loop again. See, now it's like a double loop. There you have a double loop. If anybody made a double loop, you can hold it up when you're done. All right, good job. And we can do it one at a time for now, because even when this is over, even if you made only one or two, you can keep making more. For anybody who already has their double loop, a few of them, then you can start, the next part uses a little bit of measuring and cutting. So everybody has sort of paper. I like these, like this is scrapbooking paper, so it has a pattern. And I like the pattern, but if you have plain paper, it could work also, or just colored paper. So what you want with your paper is you're going to make strips. You want it to be 1/2 inch wide and long enough to wrap around the tube, which is maybe like 6 inches. This part takes a little bit of measuring, so we'll tell you kind of the ruler. Okay. All right. So I'm going to measure 1/2 inch. Anybody who has questions, please unmute and ask. Or you can raise your hand or type it in the chat. And you're going to need, every one napkin ring needs 2 of these strips. So if you're going to make like 10 napkin rings, then you're going to need 20 strips. But if you're only making 1 for now, then just make 2 strips. That almost worked. So quiet. See, I made lines for my strips, and I'm going to cut those out.
Want to take a look at the project and see what's happening? Well, here it is. How's it working out with the
For anybody who came on since I started,
Turn your video on,
you want 1 inch loops out of your tube. Let's see. All right, when people cut out their strips, hold it up. And anybody who didn't see some of the instructions, if you want to know what to do, ask and I'll fill in. Because people keep coming in and I don't want to like just have to keep explaining unless people want to know. Hold up your strips when you have them. Oh man. Oh, look at me. Yay. Strips and tube. Are people starting to have strips? If anyone's ready for the next step, how about you unmute yourself and say yes, okay? Yes, anybody ready?
We're ready for the ribbon part.
What?
We are ready for the ribbon part.
Oh, yes, so if you have ribbon, then instead of having to cut strips, you just cut a piece of ribbon and it has to be long enough to wrap around the tube, like this. You can wrap around. And you need 2 of those for each one.
The same color for both, I assume, right?
Yeah. I mean, you could do different colors for different ones. Actually, that would be a fun thing to try. So it could be whatever you want. But this part, for the ones I did the same color for those. Make them long enough to wrap around the tube and overlap a little bit. All right, so for anybody who's ready, and I can say it again if some people are still not ready, the next step is you're going to glue your strips around your little double ring. It goes 1 strip on each side. So you'll have a double ring, and it'll be pretty.
Which glue is the best glue to use?
What?
Which glue is good to use?
I mean, I've been using just like almost any glue works. If anything, if you're using ribbon, then like something that'll hold ribbon, but regular Elmer's glue probably works. Glue if you're using paper. If I'm gonna glue my strips all around my rings. If I could get the glue to come out, I'm gonna have to wait a minute for that. Oh, it's Bella. Hey, Bella.
Hi.
This is so fun. We have people from all over. Wait. All right, see, I just put dots of glue, and now I'm gonna rub them, but you can do it however you want. Where did my other one go? Okay, and then if your ends are overlapping, like see my little ends are sticking out, you can just put a little bit of glue and glue them down. Yep. Okay, so what you want to have is a little double loop, but now it's pretty. Now it's covered in paper ribbon.
Is what you're using to wrap around paper or ribbon?
What I'm using is scrapbook paper, so it's paper, but it has a pattern on it because it's scrapbook paper.
Thanks.
I like to use ribbon because it's shiny and it turns out really nice, but not everybody has ribbon. Is everyone still caught up? Does anyone have questions?
Do you put paper on both sides?
Both sides, like this and this. I put paper on both of these, but not on the inside. Yay! I see the Ben Chorins have it. If anybody else has it, they could hold it up so I could see. Oh, that's smart. My sister just had a good idea. She put glue on a plate and got a paintbrush. She'll ruin the paintbrush. Special glue paintbrush. If you're still doing that, you can keep doing that. I'm gonna start moving on to the next step for anybody who's ready. Okay. So the next step, if you have ribbon, is just cut a long piece of ribbon. I don't know how long, because I always run out and have to add more. So it's okay if it's not super long. But if you have paper, then you're gonna have to turn your paper into a long, skinny strip. So you can use it kind of like ribbon. So it's like ribbon made out of paper. So the way you do that, if you want to be super exact, you can use a ruler and mark every like quarter of an inch. And you could mark on both sides of the line, or you can just cut a skinny piece.
Your video cut out.
Yeah, I'm going to mark
No, honey, your video cut out.
at one end of my paper, and this is the other color paper now. Every quarter. My video cut out?
Your video cut out, yeah.
Frozen.
Really? Oh. So it's still frozen? Can you hear me now? You can still hear me?
We could hear you, but we can't see, like, it's frozen in a certain spot. Oh, it's right.
Well, come over here. I ran from one straight into another one. Wait 1 second.
We see you on Talia's camera now.
Okay. There's no feedback? Okay, now I'm over here. I'm not frozen anymore.
You're not frozen, but your sound is choppy.
Now it's not frozen. Okay, real quick, now I'm going to try going back to the other one. I don't know why that happened. We're good?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not frozen?
Yes.
Nope. Okay, so how you have to tell me if it's frozen or not. Okay, so next up is to make your long, skinny strips of paper. What? So you're going to be weaving with that? it's gonna turn out like, oh, here's something interesting. If you're using paper that is white on one side, or even ribbon that is plain on one side, like scrap paper, then when you weave it, you're gonna get one side is gonna have the weaving in white, and one side will have it in whatever the color is, which could look cool. It's just interesting.
Are we able to use white paper for the weaving? Are we able to use white paper for the weaving?
All right, are people getting strips?
She's
Ribbon? See, it's kind of like a ribbon, but it's actually paper. Oh, yeah.
Oh, this thingy is meant to
Wait, say that again. I
white,
couldn't hear.
and then we're supposed to weave a different color.
My friend.
And I have no idea how we're supposed to weave
Can
it.
you hear me? Dina, can you hear me?
You're choppy.
You're a little bit choppy.
Abba, what do we do with that?
We didn't get up to the weaving part yet.
Your video is still frozen for me.
Is there any time maybe? Yeah, we're gonna try getting one last computer. Am I still present or choppy? You can still hear me?
I could hear you.
Yes, now we can hear you.
What? No, Talia, you can just come over here if you want.
I could hear you, but the video is frozen. I can still hear you.
This? My string? All right, because the next step. I wonder why it's doing this. You guys can. I'm still frozen. Am I still frozen?
Yeah, it says your network bandwidth is low.
Hear me. Frozen.
What?
Wait, can I? Here, you know, I'm gonna try from another computer. Actually, Mommy, how would I get in from the other computer? Yeah. Okay, so I don't know. Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, you can. So anybody who can still hear me, even if you
You're
can't
very
see me, the next.
You're still very choppy.
Switching. Here. I don't know how to.
So you're gonna really enjoy working.
Okay, am I still frozen?
No.
No?
Oh wait, is that?
No, you're not. You're
frozen.
not.
You're not frozen. You're
Okay,
frozen.
okay, now I'm on this one.
You're on-
I might have to go back.
Crystal clear.
But the next step, we're gonna make these long things, and then, or if you have ribbon, cut long ribbon, and the fancy part, keeping it in and out of these two. So are people ready for that part?
Yes, we are.
Are you able to use white paper for weaving?
Yeah, you can use whatever color. It looks the best when the two colors of paper are different colors, because then you could see. If they're the same color, you probably can't. Or you could just practice with all white, and then you could color some papers a different color.
Okay.
Talia, can you get me the glue?
Can you get me a thin paintbrush?
Okay, so to start the weaving part, I'm gonna put a little bit of glue where the two sides are connected, because that part is the part that doesn't look as nice, so it's gonna be the bottom. So we start and end there. So I stuck a little bit of glue. And then stick your long one and glue it right inside. So now it's right there. It's glued on. Well, it fell off, but 1 second. We'll get it on. It wasn't dry yet. Oh, Talia, now you're on as Chana Robinson, and I'm on as R. Robinson.
Still on the computer.
I'm not frozen? Okay. No. Okay, anybody who's ready, if you have it glued on.
This is for the ribbon.
Hmm?
This is for the X. This is for the other.
Yeah, this is the other one. Yeah, the skinnier one. Try to show up close. 1 second. I'm gonna thread the ribbon over one side and under the other side, and then pull it. But do it super close to the attached part. Here, 1 second.
Mommy, how fast does acrylic paint dry?
I don't know the answer to that. That's a Mrs. Weinberg question.
It dries pretty fast if it's thin, but it still takes a few minutes. My glue's not working. So if anybody's ever done weaving before, it's over, under, over, under. So one side, let's see. Now this one's under, so I'm gonna bend it and stick it under the next one. Wait. And pull it tight. Zoop. And then you do it over and over again. Now on this side, you're gonna go over the side and under the other side. And then you keep going all the way around. And if your piece of paper or your ribbon runs out, you can glue on a new piece, but make sure you glue the new piece on inside, right where the other one left off, so that it doesn't show on the front. Oops, like this. 1 second. Gotta go get need scissors. All right. Yeah, so nice.
Is that what it's supposed to look like?
Yeah, that looks perfect.
And then what do we do with our two ends?
You glue them in on the inside and cut off the extra because you want it to not show on the outside. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Pretty, Ellie.
Yeah, I see you're also doing it. Can you hold yours up? Can you hold yours up so we can all... Yeah, there you go. And then after you do that for the whole thing, if you have flowers, you can glue on a flower. Or if anybody doesn't have flowers but still wants flowers, I could show you how to make a paper flower. Or you could play and try to figure out how to make your own paper flower. Or they don't need flowers, but I like that they have flowers because it's almost Shavuos. Let's see. Does anybody else have some to hold up? It's so beautiful. And then you guys, you can bake either all of them different, or I think it looks really nice. You make a bunch the same, enough for your family, or if you want to make a lot, you could even make enough for guests, for when we're able to have guests again. And then you stick the napkins in them and put them all around the table, and it looks really pretty and Shavuot-ic.
The ones that you have where you did, it's a different ribbon, like a thinner ribbon on the inside. So those we don't split, right?
Oh yeah, those you
Like this?
Yeah. You just put, and that's for if the weaving part is too complicated, or it can look really nice if you have ribbons that match your like plates and stuff. Like we made a set, our plates have purple and green flowers on it. So we made some purple and green ones and they look really pretty with it.
And then we take our flowers and just glue it on?
Yep.
Or we didn't get there yet?
Yeah, no, that's the next step, is you glue on a flower.
Which color flowers?
How long is this supposed to go? Is this half hour?
Whatever, however much time I guess it takes for everybody to.
Because after everybody makes one, then you can make more, and then you can make for your whole table. Because so far it takes a little while to make each one, and then it gets faster. It just takes a while to explain. Whoa, I need 3 pieces of paper for this one. Also, you could, there's so many ways to do this. Even with the weaving kind, you could weave like string. Would probably look nice. Actually, if you do it with string, you could do it that you wouldn't even need a color underneath, and it would look like it was woven out of fabric. Or you can just take ribbon or string and wrap it all around without weaving it. There's so many things. And even another piece. You could try different things of weaving it this way, wove it close together, but you can weave it far apart.
That's why it's so skinny. I know, I'm using purple. Oh yeah, I wonder what color she has. Because purple doesn't look very good.
Is everyone busy, or does anyone want to see how to make a flower with just with paper?
We'd love to see it.
Just 1 second, because I'm at a different place. I'm just going to use plain paper. This kind probably, oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. It probably doesn't last as long if it's just out of plain paper, because if it gets wet or something, that's why if it's out of fabric and ribbon, it lasts for longer. All right, so if anybody wants to see how to make a flower out of paper, and there's a lot of ways to do this, but the way I did, wait, somewhere I have an example, but not over here. You cut a square out of paper. I'm trying to think how big. Yeah, it's beautiful, Talia. You do it at probably 1.5 inches, or could be bigger, could be smaller, depending how big you want your flowers to be. And you cut it into a square. Then you fold the square in half. Yeah. Then you fold it in half again, this way. You have a tinier square. It's kind of like making snowflakes, if anyone's made snowflakes out of paper or coffee filters. And then you fold the two sides together into a little triangle. This is very tiny, actually. And 1 second. And I'm going to cut it so it makes a little pizza shape. I didn't cut it yet. Now I'm going to. There. Here's a little pizza shape.
Do you cut it into a triangle, or is it or do you just fold it into a triangle?
It was folded into, do you see the first part? You fold it in half and then in half again, so it's a square. And then you fold that square in half along the diagonal, so it makes a triangle.
Oh.
And then I snipped off the top, and that made it into an isosceles triangle, if you know what that is. And then, see, I drew with purple a little like a bump shape. You draw that, and then you cut it out. It's a little hard when it's tiny, that's the only thing. Then if you want to see when I open it up, I have this. So it's like a flower with 8 petals. And then if you want it to look like a 3D flower, you cut off one of the heart shapes. Here, wait. Which is really cutting off 2 parts with bumps. Hey, Kiva. Like this. So now it only has 6. And it looks like someone took a bite out of it. And the piece you cut off is a heart, actually. It's a little heart. And then to make it 3D, you just put a little bit of glue on one of the petals that are by the edge. So you can do it. And then glue, and then put the other edge that's on top of the one you put glue on. And then you can curl the petals, and then you have a flower that you made yourself. There we go. I don't know if you could see so well. But here's a flower. And then if you have little beads or jewels or something, you can stick in the middle and then it looks very pretty. Or you can make another flower to stick in the middle of that flower. All right, does anybody else have any more questions? Because it's probably, that's pretty much how to do it. And then you just make a whole bunch. But if anyone else has any questions, I can stay on. Or wants to show me what they did, because I would love to see.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Yeah, Talia, I can see hers. Yeah, Ben Clarence, your guys turned out really nice.
We are gonna be. We have like a whole. We've got lots of ideas.
Wow, yeah.
We're gonna have a colorful table. I don't know if we'll have two of the same of any of them, but we're really excited. Thank you so much for doing this.
Put them all on the same. You can have crazy ones.
Exactly.
One.
Amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is such a fun activity.
Sure. Rena, do you have, can I see what you did? You don't have to, but. Ooh, that looks really nice. Oh, and you had flowers?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you for showing us.
What?
Thank you for showing us.
Sure. Oh yeah, we were gonna do it. I was gonna do it with Eliza as a Malava Malka. I don't even know.
I heard.
5 years ago or something, and it got snowed out. So for years we've had all this ribbon and tons of paper towel tubes. We've been collecting them for like years. Yeah, now I used them all up, making like 12,000 napkin rings and partially on a Rube Goldberg machine. Anybody else? Ariella, I see your name on there.
Yeah, I'm here, but I came a little bit late, so I didn't really get anything to do it yet. But I have the toilet paper rolls here.
Yeah? Did you see how to do the weaving part?
Yeah, I saw you have to like cut it and then you like to take the ribbon. We don't have, or do we have ribbon?
So I did these, this is using paper, scrapbook paper and like construction paper. So you can do it without, because I recognize that not everyone has ribbon now. But either way, you could do any like, just take a paper towel tube and you can like just put anything on it and call it a napkin ring.
Yeah.
Great, anybody else? I don't actually know who else is here. Not, is it 4:45? I'll probably go, but thank you guys so much for attending, and I hope you understood and can make some really nice napkin rings.
Thank you again.